The missing piece in your branding. What is a brand really? The truth is that a brand is a bunch of things and yet only one thing. And on this episode, your host, yours truly, Vanessa Zamy, and our guest expert, Lisa Schermerhorn, will be filling in the missing piece to your brand. We're going to be discussing the key questions you need to answer and how to set yourself up for 2023 success. But first, where are you?
Welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, a podcast about how you can grow a profit-producing, purpose-driven business without burnout. We don't need more people starting businesses. We need more people continuing. Each week, we'll deliver the latest and greatest tips, tricks, and strategies for you to revive, grow, and scale your business. Now, here's your host, consultant, professor, and the business defibrillator, Vanessa Zamy.
And I am joined with our guest expert, Lisa Schermerhorn. And we'll be going into the missing piece in your branding. Now, Lisa, we're going to go to our bio a little bit. I'll give you a precursor here. So, Lisa, why is the why important for branding?
Well, there's a part of your brain called the limbic system. And the limbic system is the part of your brain that makes all your decisions. And it doesn't have words, it's about feelings. So when you use your why in your branding, people will make decisions to buy based on emotion. And that's the decision maker that makes all the purchases. It's like when you go walk by a store and you see something in the window and you're like, I have to have it. I don't even know why. And you spend 3 times more on it and you get it home and you're like, why did I just buy that? Because that part of your brain makes all the decisions. So when you incorporate your why in your branding, you're getting people to make an emotional decision and increases your opportunity for sales.
The emotional decision increases the opportunities for sales. We're going to be going to a little bit more on that on this episode. But first, I know some of you are likely new, but for those who are not, what do we do in every episode? We talk about your win of the week. During the last 7 days, what is a personal or business or both win that you want us to celebrate with you here on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon? So first, our guest, Lisa, what's a win of the week that you want to share?
Oh my God, this was so much fun because Saturday night, I'm a groupie to this band that plays here locally and I love them and I hadn't seen them play for a while. And I'm on the dance floor and I had 3 people separately run up to me and hug me and tell me how much they love my book. One of them was actually reciting parts of it. And then we did a business deal on the dance floor and they want me to come into their business and do the why for their team. It was
fantastic. Making the connections, making the relationships anywhere, folks. It doesn't just have to be when you are at a bar. It could be on the dance floor. Love it. Love it. What has been your win of the week? Type it in the comments. If you're watching us on YouTube, scroll to the bottom, hit that subscribe button, and then keep scrolling and type in the comments what's been your win of the week. Even if you're watching a replay, we want to hear from you. We want to celebrate with you. What do you want to celebrate during the last 7 days? If you're listening to us on the podcast, what has been your win of the week? Stick it to yourself. Just what do you want to acknowledge? And why do we do this? Because entrepreneurship is indeed a marathon. And it's very easy in this marathon to say, nothing is working. It's not happening. We're pushing the end of the year. Oh my goodness, it's the beginning of the year. Oh my goodness. When something is probably working. So this is your moment to take a pause and say, what has been your win of the week? All right. What has been my win of the week? Well, you may notice my background is a little bit different if you're watching us live. This is a hotel room. My win of the week is I just wrapped up today, a few hours ago, just wrapped up speaking at the Financial Planning Association annual conference. It's their global conference that they have every year. Just spoke there on my signature talk, How to Avoid Burnout. And the room, one of those breakout sessions in the room was 80 to 90 people were in that room. I did a feedback survey at the end, and I am celebrating that 100% of the people said that it was a valuable talk. Okay. And more than 90% said that it was inspiring, informative, and engaging. Okay, and the survey actually asked them in different questions, and so I'm celebrating that. I'm celebrating that 100% of the people found my tips and actionable insights to be valuable for them. And people at the end even came up to me to say, I just love how practical your talk was. I can actually implement it, and it's and it's great. And I said, that's why I do what I do. That's why I keep it simple, folks, and keep it moving. That's my win of the week that I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating 3 hours ago today. So that's what I'm celebrating. So what has been your win of the week? It could be a personal win. It could be a business win. It could be a new client. It could be a new friend. It could be a new client and friend, in Lisa's case, right? So what has been your win of the week? Now, who is Lisa Schermerhorn?
Well, before I start in that, when you talked about your win, which congratulations, you were living your why.
Oh, yeah.
Because you make sense out of complicated situations and problems.
Precisely.
And you are the problem solver. And that's what makes sense people do. And when you do it, it's easy and effortless. And that's why people love you, is because you make it so easy. And so your makes sense. You're living your purpose and your why. And that's why everyone loved you. Just saying.
Thank you. I'll put some context for people. So in case people are like, makes sense. What is she talking about? So essentially, Lisa has sent over a quiz, a test for me to take in terms of that helps you understand, like, what is your why? And yeah, so I did that test, and the result was your why is make sense. So that is what Lisa is talking about. And yeah, so yeah, I keep things simple. I help to make complicated things into simple things for people so they can move forward. Even on the stage, I remember telling people, yes, these 3 steps seem very simple, and that is intentional because I don't like wasting my time on stage. I don't like wasting your time in the audience. And if I made it complicated, you wouldn't do it. And that would be a waste of time. So alas, but yeah, so, but enough about me. This is about Lisa Schermerhorn. So we are talking, this is actually about you, listeners.
I like sharing the stage. So, so I appreciate this. So again, my name is Lisa Schermerhorn.
Oh, wait, Lisa, I'm gonna read your bio. I'll read your bio.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll read your bio. Yes, yeah. So Lisa and I, right? So why are we talking about the missing piece in your branding? Who is Lisa? So Lisa has over 20 years of experience as a transformational leader, a best-selling author, an award-winning speaker, and expert in the fields of human behavior, leadership, and personal development. Lisa also trained in the winner's mindset with Bob Reese, the former head trainer for the New York Jets. And as a certified hypnotherapist, master practitioner of Neuro, Linguistic Programming, NLP, and a why coach, WHY coach, Lisa helps people discover their why and how to use it in your branding. So Lisa, the question for you, what are the common mistakes people make in understanding their why? Like, is there ever a time that someone came to you and said their why and you said, that's definitely not right? Or you thought to it to yourself, maybe to say that loud.
Well, most people think their why is their partner or their children. And what I say to them is, you had your why way before you had your partner and your children, right? Your why is what motivates you. Your why is what gets you up every day. And you had that why as a child. For instance, I had minor learning disabilities as a child, and I struggled in school. And so what happened was I thought I was stupid. And I spent every summer of my childhood in summer school. But what I realized later on as an adult was that my why is just that I'm different. I've now discovered that I'm challenged, that I like to think outside the box and do things differently. And by doing that, what's happened is that because I learn differently, I make decisions differently. I'm always thinking outside the box. But when you think differently, you are actually in a situation where you can get bullied as a child. And so I didn't fit in. I didn't understand who I was. And I gave my power away to everyone who I thought was smarter than me. When I discovered my why, I realized that that was also my superpower, because I've come to learn that our greatest wounds are our greatest gifts. So when I learned that challenge was my greatest gift, was that as an entrepreneur, these are innovators, these are visionaries, these are people who think outside the box, and they too have had that same type of experience. And so when you have those experiences, you don't feel like you fit in. And a lot of people have shame around their why because they don't own it. Like, I had a client whose why was something we call simplify. where it's kind of like the Make Sense, but they're more of the organizers. They can take 10-step recipe and bring it down to 8 steps. And he was consulting with an engineering firm. So he had the ability to take like 5 paragraphs and break it down to 5 bullet points. And he said, "How do I charge for that? I won't make any money." I said, "You're not charging hourly. You're charging for your wisdom of taking complex information, breaking it down to layman's terms so they can sell to the public. What's that worth?" And then he tripled what he was making. But the why goes deeper than that, because we have a why, we also have a how and a what. So you and I haven't had a chance to get into your how and your what, but my why is challenge. So I believe that success happens when we challenge the status quo and think outside the box. My how is better way. So I help people find a better way. Better way people are visionaries. What I ultimately bring is the ability to make sense out of complicated situations and problems. So I carry that make sense just like you. We are the problem solvers, which is the beautiful thing. The problem with make sense people is that because we solve problems so quickly, everyone comes to us. So when you're in a corporate environment, you can become the bottleneck because everyone's running to you to solve the problems. And it's about getting other people to solve their own problems, right? And so it's more planting the seeds and guiding them instead of micromanaging, because sometimes it's just enough for us to know that we have the answer without having to tell people the answer and guiding them to get there. So make sense people are the problem solvers. They're the go-to people in business because they will solve your problems and they're really good at it. And they have the ability. They're like detectives. They solve, I love, like, when my jewelry knots, I can sit there for hours and pull it apart. I love to figure out how things like come together. But getting back to the why, when you use your why in your branding, you know who you're communicating to, because you started a business because there was something missing and you were passionate about creating that business. So you want to talk to other people who think like you, because they're going to say, wow, this person gets me. And when you speak to them in that way, their emotions come up and they're drawn to buying from you because you have the answers that they need. And that's why the why is so important. It's also important in teams, in business, because if I know your why, I know how to communicate with you. So there's the first why is contribute. These are people who like to be of service to others. And they're the team players. They don't like to be center of attention. But you want contributors on your team because they'll volunteer for everything. Will work their butt off for you. And then you have, as I mentioned before, challenge, which is the people who think outside the box. You're never going to want to put a challenge person in a position where they're micromanaged or that they have to stay within a structure. They're the people who are in sales. Those are the people who are the visionaries. You have to leave them alone. Better way people are also visionaries. They are always coming up with something new and something better. They're always improving. So then we have simplify, people who are the organizers and they get things done. They streamline things for people, for organizations. We have, there's 9 in total. You have clarifiers. Those are the people who ask lots of questions to make sure that everyone is understood. And that, let's see, then there's one that's trust. So if you have a boss that has the why of trust, you want to use trust language, right? Because trust is really important to them. And you want to make sure that you don't inadvertently betray their trust, that you're always transparent. But they will bend over backwards to make sure that they're trustworthy. So there's all these different ways of communicating with people and potential clients when you start to see the patterns and how they communicate and get a sense of what's important to them. Use their language.
Yes. And Right after, we're going to take a quick break. Right after that, we're going to get into, because it's something you had mentioned even prior in describing your situation, Lisa. You talked about how your wounds and differences help to inform your why, right? So we're going to get into a little bit more deeper in terms of how can someone who's sitting here saying, okay, so is my why my why? How do I figure it out? I don't know. We're going to talk about that after this quick break.
Are you interested in partnering with Vanessa Zamy, the business defibrillator, to revive, grow, or scale your business? Then text 617-959-2203. We specialize in collaborating with storefronts, salons, and shops to help you increase your sales by 50% in only a few months. That's 617-959-2203 for more details. If you're looking to shock your 10-year shop back to life, then text 617-959-2203. It's your time to have a reliable team, increase store traffic, and glowing sales growth so you can take that vacation outside your country while having your store still thrive. Text 617-959-2203 for more details.
And we're back with Lisa Schermerhorn. We're getting into the missing piece in your branding, a lot around your why and really understanding what that why is. What you think is your why is really not your why. So if you're just tuning in, remember to rewind as well and let us know what you are thinking about this episode here. Type in the comments, or if you're watching on LinkedIn Live, then you can scroll to the bottom, react with the love or the celebrate or the applause emojis on LinkedIn. But let us know what you're thinking about this episode here. When we had just left off, we're getting and talking about the different whys, and then we're taking a step back to help you discover how to figure out your why. So, Lisa, what are some exercises or tips or questions or things that people can do to figure out their why?
Well, there's a why test through the Why Institute, and it comes up with your why, how, and what. And like when you got your results, was it like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I do? Like what was your reaction when you heard that?
Yeah, so I remember I had emailed you when I got the results, and what I mentioned was, it's nice to be validated. And one of those things where there's all these whys, and so they'll tell you one sentence descriptions of the different whys, and which Lisa actually said in more depth in a few minutes ago on this episode. But yes, I remember I messaged Lisa and I said, word for word in the email, I said, yes, I agree, makes sense is number one if I were to prioritize my why. So for me, it definitely did make sense to me. And yeah, but I know it's probably not the case for everybody.
But here's the thing. Now you know that you're in alignment with who you are. Like you're doing it. For someone who's not, for instance, I had a client who was a challenged personality and she was miserable in her job. She was promoted into a position which was something for someone who is what I call right way. Right way people are more structured. They're like in IT or accounting, people who have rules, they follow rules. And so here she was as a challenged personality who likes to think outside the box in a job where she was structured and micromanaged. And she'd been in those kind of jobs her whole life. And she's like, I hate my life. I said, you hate your life because you're in the wrong position. And so we talked about her talking to management and HR about moving her into another area where she could really fully be her. And she was so excited because they were open to it, because they were excited for her that she wanted to move into an area where she could be far more productive and happier. Because when you're happy doing what you do, like when you were speaking today, did it feel like work at all?
It did not.
No, it's easy and effortless. So when you're in your why, your day flows, everything, and you have endless amounts of energy for what you're doing. Like for what I do, it never feels like a day of work. I can work 10, 12 hours a day sometimes, and I'm done and I'm like, what else can I do? I'm like, no, I need to take a break. But it's one of the things that helps people better understand who they are. Now, people will ask me, What's the difference between that and the DISC assessment or the Myers-Briggs or any of those other tests? Those other tests are assessments. They all tell you how you do something. The why tells you it's a discovery. It tells you why get like I live in a log cabin. That's a challenge thing. Like that's not for everyone. I live the way I vacation, the type of car that I drive. It's always something that's unique and different. And so for me, I like to talk to people about what gets you inspired, what excites you. How can we place you in positions, if you're not already, or encourage people to become aligned with who they truly are? And the thing is that we always see it in other people. We have a hard time seeing it in ourselves. And that's why as a coach, I have my own coach because I believe in coaching, because we all want to get to the next level, right?
We
So
do indeed.
we do. So we don't have all the answers ourselves. So we always need, it's like a thinking partner. I like to think of myself as a thinking partner. I work with people because I believe that everyone has the answers inside of them. And working with the subconscious mind for over 20 years, we have these programs, we have these beliefs that come in that stop us. So it's like if you have this destination that you want to get to, imagine this highway, and there are all these boulders in the middle of the road. And guess who put those boulders there? Me. I put them there because I'm blocking it, because I grew up thinking I wasn't smart. So I didn't think I could ever write a book. I didn't ever think that I would be smart enough to get on stages in front of people. I didn't think I was smart enough to be an entrepreneur and have my own business. But I learned that those were my own thoughts that were blocking me. And once I had the tools to release them, it changed my world. I was suicidal at one point. This work saved my life. And that's why I do it. Because I know that there are other people who are in the same position. And here's why it works so well. I was going to therapists 2-3 times a week, and nothing was helping me because I was working in here. At our brain has about 5 major brain frequencies. Okay. So we're in beta right now, which is a conscious cognitive state. When we're younger, our brain is in different frequencies. So when we're born, we're in delta, which is a really big, slow wave. Then we go to theta. You ever watch kids and how creative they are and imaginative they are? Because that's what the theta state is. That's why they make mud pies and walk around with sticks like they're guns or whatever they are, because they live in the state of imagination. But it's also a deep programming. So if someone ever said to you, you'll never amount to anything, or, you're not good in math, or you're not smart, or whatever they said, we take those on. Or if there were money issues in the family where there was scarcity, that runs us. It's a low running program that's under the surface. And we keep doing things over and over again, expecting a different result. We end up with this madness. But when we can get to the subconscious mind, reveal it, and release it and replace it with what you wish you could have had instead. I say, I'm like time travel for your emotions. We can't change what happened, but we can change the way you feel about it. And we change the way you feel about it, you will literally see the world through a different lens. So when you can release that, and then you can turn around and find out your why and truly live in your why, every day is easy and effortless. Every day is beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the people watching us on YouTube commented, "My whole life makes so much sense now." Love it, love it. We are wrapping up here on time, but in the next few seconds or so, Lisa, tell us more about your book. I know you have a book that's out there. Tell us more about your book and share how can our listeners and viewers reach you.
So this book is In Every Belief is a Lie, and it's all about our programming. I have tools in here. There's a QR code that takes you to some videos and some guided meditations that can help you with your programming. You can reach me through my website at peakperformancemindsetcoaching.com, or on LinkedIn, feel free to reach me. I offer a 20-minute free consultation. If you want to know your why, I can help you with that and help you on your way to be aligned and find joy in your life.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you, Lisa, for joining us here this evening. And if you didn't already tell, this show is not only about a story, but also the lessons and action items to keep you moving forward in your business. We equip and empower you through education. If you're saying to yourself, I want to know more about my why, then reach out to Lisa Schermerhorn on LinkedIn or on her website, or check out her latest book. If you're saying to yourself, Vanessa, I want you on my team as my business advisor, then you're welcome to reach out to me as well, or head over to VanessaZamy.com. That's Z for zebra, A animal, M money, Y.com for more details. Okay. During the next couple of weeks, we have even more experts joining us. We have Iris, a expert human resources consulting company, just recently voted as the top 10 DEI leaders in the nation by the CIO magazine. She will be joining us here as well. We have even more guests coming in the upcoming year. The point being, stay tuned. Mark an alarm on your calendars for every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where you're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can subscribe below for more updates if you're watching us on YouTube. Okay, here's the thing, folks. Entrepreneurship is a marathon, but it's a marathon you don't have to run alone. Chat soon.
Thanks for joining us this week on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or Spotify, or if you'd simply tell a friend about this episode. And if you're looking for more tips on reviving your business, make sure to visit our website, vzamy.com. That's VZAMY.com. To register for our upcoming business growth workshop on staff management, financial management, and time management. It's your time to revive, grow, and scale. Visit vzamy.com. That's V for Vanessa, Z for zebra, A for animal, M as in money, Y as in yes.com. Visit vzamy.com for more details.
Time goes so fast.